The political ecosystem in Nigeria is charged getting up for the 2027 general elections. But the questions that beg for answer is the series of defections of politicians from one party to the other is jumping ship, as a result of political parties not having ideological base, to push forth their mission or their vision. Hello, dear. Thank you so very much for joining us on Political Affairs on Kama TV. My name is Chris Jacobs, and I've been joined by Honorable Puren Kamsobbi. He is the flag bearer for the chairmanship election coming forth June 13 of Ganye local government under the platform of the People's Democratic Party. And he joins me now to further the conversation. Honorable, it's a pleasure to have you on Political Affairs.
Thank you.
Indeed. Now, I'd like to start by asking you, having set the premise for the conversation, let me ask you, what do you make of political development in Nigeria since 2023 general election?
Actually, we thank God Almighty for this opportunity. We also extend our greetings to the viewers. If you're joining us live and whatever time that you have the opportunity to listen to this broadcast, we acknowledge your viewership to this Kama TV program. To start with your question, Nigeria is a particular country of interest, not concern.
Not concerned now.
Understand, because Nigerian political landscape has been a resilient one from the return of democracy since 1999 up to this moment. There is no any interrupted democracy. Nigeria has experienced and has enjoyed a steady democracy. So, however, starting from the cradle stage to this stage, there must be challenges.
Absolutely.
And there must also be benefits. And there must also be learning processes that will take us to the very top of our democracy in practice. So let me just narrow my conversation or discussion to 2023, to this moment that you have mentioned.
Yeah.
It's a political procedure that has changed some narratives, most especially along party lines.
That's right.
You understand that people engage and then participated in the politics, some even supporting from other parties, supporting other candidates. That alone shows maturity of political party participation, and as well has also demonstrated that people are now gearing their own mindset or support towards a particular ideology of candidates. What did I mean by that? You see the landscape of the 2023 elections. Some governors emerged through the All Progressive Congress,
That's right.
and some emerged for PDP, and some emerged on ABGA, and there are some quite, I think, a Labour Party gubernatorial candidate has emerged. So you find out that Nigeria has demonstrated maturity along that line. However, going down the governance now, politics and governance. So once government at the center, as the government is rolling out its own governance, policies, and trying to see that they revamp so many things, basing their own ideology on the renewed hope agenda of His Excellency, the Commander-in-Chief, that is President Ahmed Bola Tinubu. The renewed hope agenda, now concentrating on some key reforms. Notable among them, we see the removal of subsidy right from day one, and the tax reforms now that is taking place. There is one key thing that I will mention that the government at the center has done that is not even highlighted or brought to the spotlight. And that is the harmonization of the foreign exchange. That is why now we don't have a black market on a dollar and then the official rate now being harmonized. That it helps give a focus in economic activities. If now you're importing or you're exporting, you have a balance, a currency. A value that you can make your forecast, or you can make your business projections. So these are kudos to the government at the center. But strategically, again, politics-wise, if you are a president, or if you are a governor, or you are a chairman, or whatsoever political office you're holding, while you're dishing out governance and policies, you're also mindful of your political strategy.
Absolutely.
Because you want to come back to power, or you want your party to stay longer than expected. So it has dived into political strategies. You can see how we will be frank to that.
Yeah.
How some governors now cross carpeting back to APC, and whatsoever their reasons are, me personally, I
Best known to them.
respect that.
But we'll get to that. Haven't been able to, your submissions, the separations between politics and governance is germane, just like what is happening in the center. But I also want to ask you what you make of the system, talking about the electoral system, because if we don't get the system right, we always have these irregularities characterizing our elections. Because it seems in Nigeria, most of the elections that happens in Nigeria is characterized by irregularities, and at the end of it is either the tribunal or the Supreme Court becomes the arbiter, thereby announcing who the winner is instead of the voter, to announce, or the voter becomes the power of the announcement of who the winner of the election is. Not quite long, a couple of days ago, there has been this back and forth regarding electoral act reforms, and particularly the transmission of results electronically. And that indeed has generated a lot of controversies, a lot of back and forth. But within 24 hours, the National Assembly seemed to have bowed to pressure. Talk to me about the system, the electoral umpire. Do you think the system is favorable to Nigerians, not just politicians now in court, but to Nigerians? Because what has brought about voter apathy sometimes, people question the system. Are we getting it right now? That people have protested and the National Assembly have bowed to pressure. That, of course, it's okay now to transmit results electronically.
Have they bowed to pressure?
Technically.
Okay, I understand this very perspective we are coming from, having laid a background on the politics and the governance since 2023. Actually, electoral process being championed by the Independent National Electoral Commission is a key institution that can strengthen democracy in Nigeria. I mentioned it earlier that there were learning processes from the beginning. So each elections being conducted in Nigeria since 1999 to this moment gives the election umpire a chance to review their processes, and then also call for some amendments and sending some of the electoral acts back to the National Assembly for amendment and passing through public hearings and making stakeholders making contributions. This is the journey of getting to perfection. If you keep looking at reviewing your process, certainly one day you will arrive at the goal that you're targeting. So coming down to the electoral process, up to what we're experiencing now, as a young man, I know maybe I got active into politics, or like started voting 99 up to this moment. But as a student of power, as a follower of politics, as someone that is enthusiastic about what is happening in his country, I will tell you for free that Independent National Electoral Commission are trying their best. We started from a moment of analog manual elections. Now gradually we entered during the era of Jega, Professor Jega, and then Mahmoud Yakubu. We have seen some transformation into the digital era. That bringing in beavers, bringing in accreditation machines. I mean,
beavers was actually a build-up on the card reader.
On card reader.
That's right.
On card reader, yes. So you see technology being coming in and replacing some of the manual procedures. And then by doing that, it was wading off, clearing off some irregularities that was hampering electoral issues in Nigeria and creating apathy to voting. And now people are starting trusting the process, because they believe that with the introduction of the technology part into the elections, it is giving them what? Credibility, and then people are trusting that their votes are counting. So going further, now something happened, something remarkable or something sensitive happened during the 2023 elections, and then the subsequent challenge of the result at the Court of Appeal, and then subsequently going to the
tribunal,
from the tribunal appeal to the Supreme Court. The judgment was passed, of which one of the candidates believed that he won the election. And then based on what? Based on the evidences that they collated or they reviewed from the INEC server, which is the IREF.
That's right.
So collating some of these results and calculating it, they believe that they won the election. But however, there was lacuna in the law.
Right. Let us not go deeper in that, because it's more of technical issues.
Yes, I think I did not hit my point on the current issue of the transmission of
result electronically.
So that was what gave birth to this. Okay, there was a lacuna because the judge made a pronouncement. We call it a law report now.
Yeah.
It's there. You can read it. So the judgment, one of the key line statement was that the Electoral Act did not specify that it is mandatory for election to be transmitted electronically.
Yeah.
So on that basis, this is why Nigerians and stakeholders say, okay, if this law can say like this, why not go back to the National Assembly and amend it?
Yeah.
And that was what kickstarted the process. And then now, you made mention that the National Assembly has bowed to pressure.
Yeah.
And I started my contribution by saying, do they really bow to pressure?
Well, technically.
All right, I am a follower of this very particular case. House of Representatives, in their own passage of the same bill, same amendment, they specify that the elections should be transmitted electronically and it should be mandatory. And now the upper house, the Hollow House, which is the House of Senate, the Senate, now said they injected two statements. They bow to transmitting electronically and as well as mentioning that it can also be transmitted manually in case of where there is no network. Are we really saying
some experts have even further the conversation the more, coining from the submissions of the former INEC boss Mahmoud Yakubu in several forums and press briefing. It said BVAS has the capability to identify you, accredit you, and also transmit results, electronically, regardless of whether there was network or not. Anyway, now let me get back to another critical issue. You are the candidate of the People's Democratic Party for the forthcoming local government election coming up June 13th, and you're vying for the elective office as a chairman, prospective chairman, Ganye local government. What could have informed that decision for you to run as chairman, Ganye local government? But catch a breath. When we return from this short time out, and I will allow you to talk some more. All right, you're watching Political Affairs on Camera TV. We'll take a short break now. I'll be back in just a moment. And for those of you following the conversation on our Facebook page, you can as well send your comments, suggestions, questions, even to Honorable Kamsobbi. It's very much around the studio, and I promise you we'll get back to you in due course. Alright, glad to know you're still there. But if you have just tuned in, you're watching Political Affairs on Camera TV. I've been speaking with Honorable Puren Kamsobbi. He is the candidate for the People's Democratic Party for the forthcoming local council elections in Ganye local government. And he's here furthering the conversation. Now, before the break, I asked you this critical question. I also understand that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has redefined the not too young to run bill. You are a young man, but I'm worried. What could have informed the decision to run for chairman's office?
Thank you for this question. It's very simple and easy. We have a man at the helm of the affairs in the state that encourages young people to participate in politics.
Okay.
Not only to participate in politics, but he has trusted young people with responsibilities, with appointments for them to exhibit their own talents, for them to come up and then showcase what their potentials are. And that man is no other person than His Excellency Right Honorable Amadou Umaru Fintiri. And at some point, I was looking at myself just like him, because this is a man that he's not just trusting the young people with a responsibility. Him too, as a person, he is demonstrating a model, or let me say something that he has also gone through.
Okay.
Because he's someone that has been elected twice as a member representing the good people of Madagali. He emerged as the speaker, he was the acting governor, and now the governor. And if you look at his age limit now, you can say he's somebody that a young man has started quite early. That means he is now demonstrating a model of leadership and governance that has brought him up. If Fintiri is good, if what he's doing is okay, then bringing young people to politics and governance is also okay. So I think it's very clear, because since somebody is championing the cause of bringing young people, and he has cited us and supported us and said, okay, this one can make a good leader. However, we cannot know that he can make a good leader until he has a platform and then he's elected. Okay, why can't we go and try it? So that is what the process began, and now I emerge as a candidate for the People's Democratic Party to contest in the Adamawa State Council elections come June. And hopefully I'm doing everything possible to win my elections, and then possibly exhibit or do what His Excellency is doing, because as a student of power and as a student of His Excellency, I think I've graduated to some level to exhibit what he's doing for the state.
So what informed your decision to run is because you've been infused with a particular template, inspired also by Right Honorable Amadou Fintiri. But there's this rumors making a round that your principal, Right Honorable Amadou Fintiri, might likely join his counterpart defecting from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressive Congress. Is that rumors or just something? Uh,
Do you really want us to talk about it?
No, I'm only asking.
You're catching me with my words here. I'm sure you mentioned something online, like we are live now.
Yeah.
So I think whatsoever I'm going to say here is my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm taking it my opinion. Everyone can quote me and unquote me. It's not the opinion of His Excellency. It's not the opinion of People Democratic Party. It's not the opinion of Kenyan people, but it's the opinion of Daniel Denham Kamsobbi. I will start by this. Leadership is a trust. Leadership is a responsibility. It's not a privilege. I quote His Excellency Right Honorable Amadou Umaru Fintiri on this. He said, leadership is not a privilege, but a responsibility. What is happening here is, leadership, if it's a responsibility, are you responsible to the people? If yes, what will now come back to you as a reward for people trusting you is trust. If you're responsible to the people, people will trust you. If you are running a responsible government, people will trust that government. If you're running a responsible political atmosphere, people will trust your leadership political wise. So what is happening is, I will tell you that as long as Adamawa State is concerned, is what I am seeing on ground. From the grassroots, from the cradles, from the villages to the city, there is only one thing that is being highlighted. We trust you, His Excellency Right Honorable Amadou Umaru Fintiri. An average Adamawa State citizen, an average person in this state sees Fintiri as somebody that is a messiah to him. You can see Kekenape people telling that we have Mumazamu, how can fly over? Why? Because couldn't money. Because they are seeing some of these things. So if this level of trust occur with a leader, the leader can navigate politically.
But you cannot be so sure that a greater majority, or perhaps a greater majority of Adamawa indigents are applauding Governor Amadou Fintiri. But that's not to negate the fact that there are also a microscopic few who may not be happy, who may feel
politics
betrayed.
Is not a game of 100%.
Who may feel betrayed, particularly those who are of the PDP.
Yes.
Should Fintiri defect to the APC after having written on the platform of the People's Democratic Party?
Let me tell you one thing. Let me tell you one thing here. I talked to you about trust. Leaders, there is something in leadership. If you trust your leader, there are decisions he takes that you will follow. Leadership and followership. If you trust your leader, it's just like, let me give you a simple illustration. If a leader is on the driving seat of a car, the driver is the leader. So wherever he turns the car to, if you trust the driver, you will not what? Scream.
Okay.
Because you will just trust the driver, because you allow the person to be on the hem of the driving seat. So let me land here, sir. Let me land here. And secondly, what I'm telling you about trust is, I am just from a political gathering in Jada. I felt it. I touched it. What the people of Adamawa State are now talking is not about APC and PDP. The simple analogy or the simple ideology is kafanka, kafarum. He's not saying that Fintri has not come out and said anywhere that he's going to APC. It's just a rumor. It's just a speculation. However, politics being unpredicted in Nigeria, is it a bad thing? If it is going to what? Increase development in Adamawa State, if it's going to bring more a unity of people and purpose, of course, politics is a social game. That means you cannot have 1 + 1 that is 2. That means that it will always be a game of majority. If the majority of Adamawa citizens and the PDP followers are saying that we are with you, then the few minority have to follow.
So invariably, should he defect to the APC, your loyalty and allegiance will still be...
my loyalty, it's not to party, because party is a letter, PDP, right. APC. The people that make the party are the leaders. So our loyalty as human beings is with the leaders of our party. And the leader of the PDP in Adamawa State is His Excellency Right Honorable Ahmadu Umaru Fintiri. As far as I am concerned now, the flag of PDP is flying, and that is what matters.
All right. There is no better way to end this conversation than now, but this is just the part 1 of this conversation. We'll definitely have a build-up, part 2 of this conversation, so that we can get to hear more of your manifestos, what you intend to do differently when you assume the office as the Honorable Chairman or Executive Chairman, Ganye Local Government. What will you be doing that is different from those who have been there before you? However, thank you so very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much. All right, this way we'll drop the anchor of the show today. Thank you so very much for being with us from start to finish. Join us again same time, same station, as we come with a fresh edition of the program. Until then, stay safe. My name is Chris Jacobs. And for those of you following the conversation on our Facebook page, I urge you send your comment, questions, and suggestions. Join us again same time as we come with a fresh edition. God bless Nigeria.